Selamat datang di IPB University, kampus hijau penuh prestasi, dinamis dan penuh karya, unggul akademik dan risetnya.
Ayo masuk IPB, kampus terbaik penuh inovasi, berintegritas dan menginspirasi. Tunggu apa lagi? Ayo masuk IPB.
Beragam fakultasnya, asri dan jauh lingkungannya.
3, 2, 1, go! Here we go! Welcome to IPB University Bogor, lokasinya teduh suasananya. Bertemu teman dari seluruh Nusantara, Jawa, Sumatera, hingga Papua. Kita bersama raih asa seluasnya, gapai cita bersama banggakan orang tua. Yeah, we are here, you can call us IPB Nation. Satu IPB untuk satu nation. Haha, come on!
Berpadu satu raih asa, bersama kita raih cita.
Yakinkan hati untuk berdedikasi. Tunggu apa lagi? Tunggu apa lagi? Tunggu apa lagi?
Ayo masuk IPB, 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 ayo masuk IPB.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, best wishes for all of us. Welcome back to the parallel session of the ISOTOBAT 2026, organized by the Directorate of Strategic Studies and Academic Reputation of IPB University. Please let me introduce myself. My name is Risa, and I will be the master of ceremony for this parallel session under the subtheme Bioresources in Food and Nutrition for a Healthier Future. Thank you very much to all presenters and participants for joining us today. And it is our pleasure to welcome our invited speaker, Prof. Diana from Diponegoro University. Good afternoon, Ibu.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Also welcome to our moderator for today's session, Dr. Husna. Thank you for joining us today, Ibu.
Yeah.
Okay, before we begin, please allow me to explain a few important rules for this session. The room Zoom will host by DMC, moderator, invited speakers, presenters, and audience members. All presenters are required to attend every session of the conference until the end of the parallel session. Co-author are welcome to join the conference without register. All participants, presenters, and audience must complete a presence form for each session, which will be shared via a Google Form link in the chat box. The MC will open its presentation session, which will then be led by moderator. Invited speakers will have a total of 15 minutes, consisting of 10 minutes for their presentation and 5 minutes for Q&A session. Each presenter will have 10 minutes in total, with 5 until 7 minutes allocated for video playback and the remaining time for Q&A session. Live presentation from presenters will not be accepted. Participants are encouraged to keep their microphones mute while videos are being played. And the last one, during the Q&A session, participants may share their opinions or ask questions by raising their hands or writing in the chat box. The moderator will invite them to speak in turn. Okay, before starting the presentation, I will I want to invite all the participants in this Zoom room to turn on the camera because we will take some pictures of the sessions. Okay, Bapak Ibu, we will start the documentation session. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Once again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you for the cooperation. Now let me introduce our moderator for today's session. Okay, our moderator in this session is Dr. Husnawati Eskat MSI. Good afternoon, Ibu. Ibu Husna is the lecturer at IPB University with research expertise in medical biochemistry, medical plants, agricultural and biological science, pharmacology, toxicology, and pharmaceutics. Okay, without further ado, I invite Ibu Husna to lead our presentation session. Ibu Husna, please, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduce. My name is Susnawati, and it's my pleasure
Ibu
to
Husna,
serve.
sorry, I can't hear your voice.
Okay, sorry. Can you hear my voice now?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can hear your voice,
Okay, is it
Dr.
clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Okay, and today I'm become a moderator for this session, parallel session. This parallel session focus on the topic of bioresources in food and nutrition for a healthier future. And with us, I will introduce. It's my honor to introduce our invited speaker for this session, Professor Dr. Diana Nur Afifah, STP MSI, from Universitas Diponegoro. Is it right, Prof. Diana? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe there is a curriculum vitae of Professor Diana. Yeah. Professor Diana, as our invited speaker in this parallel session, has a research expertise in food and nutrition science, food biotechnology, medicine, nursing, and environmental science. And if I search in her profile in Scopus and Google Scholar, I see that Professor Diana has actively contributed for numerous scientific publications and including on tropical bioresources, functional food innovation, nutrition-based approaches for improving public health and food security. And we are truly honored to have her with us today to share her valuable insights and expertise in this important field. With that introduction, Prof. Diana, the screen and time are now yours.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Husna. Yes, I try to share my PPT. All of you can see my PPT?
Yes, Prof.
Yes, okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, distinguished professors, researchers, colleagues, and also participants. It is a great honor for me to present our work entitled Bioresources in Food and Nutrition for a Healthier Future and focus on the mangrove-based food innovation. This presentation highlights the potential of mangrove bioresources, particularly Bruguera gymnorrhiza, as an innovative functional food source that may contribute to nutrition improvement, food security, and sustainable coastal community development. This topic is highly relevant to the One Health approach because it integrates human health, environmental sustainability, and socio-economic resilience through local bioresource utilization. As we know that Indonesia has one of the largest mangrove ecosystem in the world, yet many mangrove species remain underutilized for food application. At the same time, many coastal communities continue to experience nutritional problems. Nearly 1/3 of Indonesia children suffer from stunting, and in several coastal regions, the prevalence is even higher, yeah, maybe almost 50%, maybe in some region. This condition is associated with limited access to nutrition-rich foods, poverty, environmental vulnerability, and recurrent disasters. Interestingly, Bruguiera gymnorrhiza contains high levels of dietary fiber, complex carbohydrates, and bioactive compounds. These components may support gut microbiota activity and stimulate the production of short-chain fatty acid, which are important in appetite regulation, lipid metabolism, and inflammatory control. Therefore, mangrove fruit presents both a nutritional opportunity and also a sustainable food innovation potential for vulnerable communities. Although mangrove fruit contains anti-nutritional compounds such as tannins and then hydrogen cyanide, appropriate processing methods including boiling, soaking, and drying can significantly reduce these compounds. After processing, mangrove flour can be transformed into various functional food products such as biscuit, cookies, yeah, sagon bars, and instant porridge. These products are suitable, yeah, for disaster-prone coastal areas because they are self-stable, nutrient-dense, and easy to distribute. Furthermore, combining mangrove flour with soybean flour improve protein quality and mineral content, creating more balanced nutritional products. This innovation becomes increasingly important as the world faces growing challenges related to malnutrition, metabolic diseases, climate change, and food insecurity. So, despite the promising potential of mangrove-based food, scientific evidence and systematic evaluation remain limited. Therefore, this review was conducted to summarize current findings regarding nutritional composition, processing technologies, functional properties, and health benefits of mangrove-derived food products. This review also aims to support the development of local food innovations that may improve child nutrition and strengthen food security in coastal population. In addition, the findings may serve as scientific evidence for future sustainable food policies and public health strategies based on local tropical resources. This study was conducted as a systematic review following the PRISMA 2020 guidelines. We searched two major scientific databases, PubMed and Science Direct, and then covering publication from 2013 to 2024. The keywords included mangrove fruit, Bruguiera gymnorrhiza, functional food, yeah, and health benefit, both publication in English and Indonesian. The inclusion criteria focus on peer-reviewed articles discussing mangrove-based food products, nutritional composition, bioactive compound, and health-related outcomes. After screening 143 articles, only 12 studies met all inclusion criteria and were selected for details analysis. And the selected studies demonstrated diverse innovations using mangrove materials, including jellies, syrup, yeah, brownies, cookies, and jam. Most studies aim to improve both economic value and then food security in coastal communities. Nutritional analysis consistently showed high dietary fiber, complex carbohydrate, phenolic compounds, and acceptable sensory properties. Several studies also reported potential antioxidant, anti-diabetic, antibacterial, and then anti-inflammatory activities. However, additional studies are still required to evaluate long-term safety, shelf-life, consumer acceptance, and large-scale commercialization potential. Mangrove fruit contains significant amounts of dietary fiber, flavonoids, and phenolic compounds. These bioactive compounds may contribute to digestive health, and metabolic regulation. The fermentable fiber promotes SEFA production in the gut, which can stimulate satiety hormones such as GLP-1 and PYY, reduce inflammation, and improve lipid metabolism. Other mangrove species such as Avicennia officinalis and then Rhizopora mucronata also exhibit promising antibacterial, antifungal, and also anti-cancer properties. This demonstrates that tropical mangrove ecosystems may become valuable resources of future functional foods, and nutraceutical ingredient. Processing technology plays a crucial role in improving both food safety, and also product quality. Techniques such as boiling, soaking, drying, and also fermentation are commonly applied to reduce anti-nutritional compounds and improve sensory acceptance. The innovation goals include improving taste, aroma, texture, color, shelf life also, and then convenience. As a result, mangrove ingredients have been successfully incorporated into various products, including noodles, brownies, cookies, jelly, instant powder, pori, and sagon. And this picture, is one of our innovation. Cookies, made from mangrove, Bruguera gymnorrhiza, mixed with soybean. Several formulations showed particularly promising nutritional outcomes. For example, Bruguera gymnorrhiza cookies containing 70% mangrove flour and 30% soy flour provided high energy, protein, calcium, and iron content while meeting Indonesian supplementary feeding standards. Another product, Bruguera gymnorrhiza sagon bars. This one, sagon, achieve emergency food energy and dietary fiber targets with acceptable shelf-life stability. And actually, some researchers also have innovation like Pedada biscuits also demonstrated high fiber content, low fat, and low glycemic index properties, making them suitable for blood sugar management. These findings indicate that mangrove-based formulations may support both undernutrition management and also prevention of metabolic diseases. Mangrove-based food innovation supports multiple sustainability dimensions. First, it promotes sustainable food systems through the utilization of underused local resources. Second, it contributes to food security and nutrition improvement for coastal populations. Third, it empowers local communities economically through small-scale food industry and alternative income generation. Importantly, this approach aligns strong with the One Health framework, because it connects environmental conservation, community welfare, and also human health outcomes. Despite the promising results, several important challenges remain. Current health studies are still limited, especially clinical and long-term in vivo studies. Sensory evaluation are also mostly conducted on small scale, so broader consumer testing is needed. Another challenge is the lack of standardized processing techniques and food safety protocols. In addition, regularly barriers such as halal certification, food safety approval, labeling, and packaging standards must be addressed before commercialization. Therefore, interdisciplinary collaboration is essential moving forward. So in conclusion, focus in Bruguera gymnoriza based food innovations provide nutritional, ecological, and socio-economic value. Mangrove bioresources have the potential to become sustainable functional food ingredients that support public health and food resilience. However, realizing this potential requires collaboration among researchers and also industry, government, and local communities. Through integrated biotechnology, sustainable processing, and community empowerment, tropical bioresources can contribute significantly to healthier and more resilient future food systems. Mangrove fruits, particularly Bruguera gymnoriza, represent tropical bioresources for functional food innovation. Products such as biscuit, brownies, and instant porridge have shown high nutritional value, good acceptability, and beneficial bioactive, including antioxidant, and also antimicrobial effects. Although challenges related to anti-nutritional compounds and regulation remain, continued innovation and scientific research can strengthen their role in sustainable nutrition strategies. So this innovation also contributes to coastal empowerment and food security development. Maybe before ending this presentation, I would also like to share that mangrove conservation is equally important alongside food innovation. Recently, together with students, we conducted mangrove nursery and planting activities in Demak, Central Java.
If you're not ready to go home, and I get it from no. Guess we gonna go all night till we see the sunlight. Alright, la-da-dee-da-dee. We let to body, cause you and me doing whatever we want.
Actually, we try to every year, we go to the some area, to plant mangrove. Because we know that mangrove, have a potential for the food innovation, but also for the sustainable environment. So this activity reflects the importance of integrating environmental conservation, education, and sustainable food development. Mangrove ecosystem are not only ecological protectors, but also valuable bioresources for future health and nutrition. Thank you very much for your attention. I sincerely appreciate the opportunity to share our work today. We hope that mangrove-based food innovation can become part of future sustainable food systems, not only in Indonesia, but also in many vulnerable coastal regions worldwide. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Diana, for the insightful presentation. From the explanation of Prof. Diana, we can see that the role of mangrove, especially Bruguera gynoriza, correct me if I'm wrong, has many benefits, but also has several challenges that need to be overcome. Okay, now we will open the session for question and answer. If you want to ask to Prof. Diana, please kindly raise your hand or you can write the question in Zoom chat box. Maybe for a starter, I will ask to Prof. Diana. In your presentation, you said that there is some processing technique for mangrove. Yeah. And my question is, why are proper processing techniques such as boiling and soaking is important before mangrove fruits can be used as food products?
Yeah, because as we know that mangrove, actually not only the fruit, actually mangrove have a lot of types, Bruguera gymnorrhiza, Avicennia marina, and still a lot of type of mangrove, and each part, of the mangrove, I mean fruit, and then leaf, they contain high in tannin, and also hydrogen cyanide, cyanida, cyanida. Actually, maybe same with cassava, cassava also contain cyanida also, but we can reduce, using some technology, like just actually only like boiling, and then boiling 2 times maybe, or maybe it's only just clean, clean using water, and then fermentation, and actually for the fruit mangrove, not Bruguera gymnorrhiza, but another type, Avicennia marina. Last year we have some experiments, and we tried to boiling 2 times and add what we call it, abu gosok, abu gosok. What is in English abu gosok? We add abu gosok also, when boiling the fruits, and after boiling, we rinse, the fruits, and we only use the fruits, to make tempe Avicennia marina, tempe fruit, fruit mangrove, but another type of Bruguera gymnorrhiza.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Diana, for the answer. Okay, I will ask again to participant if there is any question. You can raise your hand, or you can write it in Zoom chat box. Okay, there is a question from, oh, sorry, not for this session. Okay. Okay, okay, I think maybe one question from me again, Prof. Diana. Yeah, you said in the almost in the last slide, you said that there are some challenge for developing mangrove as a food products. As for your perspective, or for your in your position, what is the main challenge for developing mangrove as a public consumption and commercialization?
Yeah, actually, because mangrove only known as an ecological properties. I mean, so still limited to grow mangrove, especially for food. So if we want to commercialize these products, so we need a lot of ingredients. Ingredients, it means mangrove flour. So if no one try to plant mangrove abundantly, yeah, and only focus for food production, yeah. Yeah, so maybe for the sustainability of our products, yeah, so that's one of these challenges, yeah, one of the challenge to make sure that our product will continue, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Diana. Actually, me myself have some question again, but because we have a limited schedule and now we have to go to the next presentation. And before that, I would like to close your session with pantun, maybe. As
Yeah,
the
okay.
session reached its conclusion, ideas have grown through thoughtful interaction. Thank you for your valuable contribution. We hope this discussion inspired future collaboration. Thank you again,
Yeah,
Prof.
okay.
Diana.
Thank you very much, Dr. Husna.
Okay, next we will go to the next presentation. The presentation video will be played by the committee, followed by, and then we will go to a brief discussion, question and answer session. And again, I would like to remind to all participants, if there is a question, you can write it in chat box, Zoom chat box, okay? So for the first presentation about effect, the title is Effect of Carrot Flour Addition on the Texture Profiles and Beta-carotene Retention of Donuts. Okay, so for Miss Ervina, the time
Yes,
and
correct.
screen is
Hello
yours.
everyone, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Ervina, and in this occasion I would like to present my study together with my students regarding the effect of color flour additions on the texture profiles and beta-carotene retentions of donuts. So this presentation consists of 5 sections focused on the introductions, objective methodology, result and discussions, and we're gonna finish with conclusions. Let's start with the introductions. Who doesn't know donuts? Donuts, typically known as a worldwide foods and well recognized as a high caloric and sugar-rich product. In addition, this food also tends to contain a lower level of micronutrients, fibers, and protein. Therefore, improvement to enhance the nutritional value of donuts is highly recommended. Therefore, our study objective, we would like to investigate the effect of carrot flour additions on textural properties and sensory qualities, and this tends for a donut and dough itself, and for donuts is also involving a crust and crumbs, and the sensory quality we're measuring with jar. In addition, we also would like to measure the retentions of beta-carotene as a nutrient improvement for these products. So what is the methodology? So this is the sample preparations where we're incorporating a different ingredients, and we do the substitutions of a carrot flour to wheat flour substitutions at different level, ranging from 0, 10%, 20%, and 30%. For the participants' informations, we are using a carrot pomace here as a source of a carrot powder that we use, or carrot flours. Therefore, it's mostly rich in fiber and has a more darker colors. So this is how the samples was prepared. So we weigh and dry the weight in ingredients, and we mix it together around 5 minutes, and then after it goes into proofing for 60 minutes under controlled temperatures and humidity in the proofer in order to activate the yeast, and then we de-aerations and de-gassing, and we also left the dough resting again for another 15 minutes, and then we deep fry the donut deep frying method using 170 degree to 175 degrees Celsius, using a similar size and weight, and we also resting it prior to the evaluations. The sample was served for analysis and sensory evaluations within 4 hours in order to minimize any induced textural changes that may influence the evaluations. For the texture analysis, we investigated using a texture analyzer when we measure the hardness and compressions for the dough, for the donut itself as a finished product, and for donut itself we also measured the texture analysis for crust and crumbs. In addition to that, we also investigate the pore size analysis when we take the two-dimensional image of the crumbs and then we evaluate it using ImageG software. And through this software, we can calculate the size of the porosity inside the crumbs. And then we also can investigate the characteristic of the pores of the donut related to the textures. And for supporting data, we also measure the moisture content of the product. The sensory evaluations was evaluated using a jar method, or just about right, that is very suitable to connect the intensity with the consumer acceptability. This evaluation was conducted using a 150 untrained panel, which is predominantly dominated by university students. They are provide the consent form, and participation is based on voluntary, as well as we screen them for allergens, especially for gluten. So the jar was investigated using 5-point jar scale focused on the color, texture, tangy aroma, and bitter taste. Well, after the jar, we also investigate the hedonic acceptability using 9-point hedonic scale focused on color, taste, and texture. In addition to that, we also measure the beta-carotene retentions measurements at the different concentrations level of pomace flower carrot additions using HPLC, and the beta-carotene was quantified and detected at 450 nanometer using UV-Vis detector. For the data analysis, the textural and physical characteristics were analyzed using ANOVA, while the jar data were analyzed using a penalty analysis, and the significant differences all detected at p-value 0.05 or 5%, and when it's applied, the Duncan post-test was applied if the significance was detected. So what is the result in discussions? First, we could see that the increasing the level of carrot flour additions in the dough formulation was significantly altered the hardness of the dough and the donuts. We could see that the hardness of the dough and the crumb as well as the crust hardness of the donuts was significantly increased alongside with the carrot flour additions. And the crumb porosity is also significantly different across the sample, showing that the porosity is becoming smaller. As additions, the water content also showed to be a decrease with the increasing the carrot flour substitutions. For the beta-carotene concentrations, the concentration showed to be significantly increased with the highest level of carrot flour substitutions. The highest beta-carotene content was observed in the sample containing 30% carrot flours, and approximately this was almost tenfold compared to the donut without any flour additions. So for the sensory evaluations using the jar method, we could find that the colored flour additions affect significantly liking for visual, especially the color, tangy aroma. And for bitterness substitutions, for the bitterness attribute, the substitutions for the highest concentration showed to be significantly affect the liking. And we could also see that the texture become a very critical key sensory for acceptability in all samples. Regarding the acceptability, we see that the increasing level of carrot flours decreased the liking for overall acceptability, color, texture, and taste score of the donuts. The significant differences were already evident even after 10% of substitutions. So what we can conclude from this study? The addition of carrot flours on the textural properties first can influence the textural itself, both the dough and the final donut product. It's also significantly increased the hardness for the donut. It's reduced crumb porosity, decreased moisture content, and significantly increased the beta-carotene. For the consumer acceptability, we see that the additions of carrot flours at the lowest substitutions level, it's already produced a significant effect on consumers' liking, especially for color and tangy aroma, while the bitterness began to negatively affect at 30% of carrot substitutions. We also see that texture was consistently influenced consumer acceptability across all samples. So thank you for your attention, and feel free if you have any question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Ervina and team for the presentation we have just watched. Now we will move to the question answer session. For participants who would like to ask the question, you may raise your hand using the Zoom feature, or you can write your question in the chat box. Okay. maybe the question from me, yeah, Miss Arvina. Uh, from the conclusion, we see that the formulation, the donut formulation with carotene, it will make the donut more what do you say? Not as soft as usual.
Yeah.
Is it correct? Okay.
Mm.
And in your maybe you have another research or next project
Yeah.
to how to make the formulation, to improve the formulation, to maintain the
Mm.
softness while still
Mm.
increasing the beta carotene content.
Yes, well, so actually the idea of this research, we utilize something that was not used as food anymore. So first, the carrot flour that we're using here is not like from a fresh carrots, but this is the carrots that we take from farmers, the rejections carrot that was not filtered through the supermarket quality. So they have different level of quality, and usually the lowest quality, they use it as feed. So we take this carrot. Well, actually, it's not that bad, but it's only that the quality did not match the standard. And then we try to, let's say, use it in the different formulations. And one of that is donut. So we have a different a project. For example, we use it as a kimchi. We use it as a carrot juices and different things. So in this case, we try to okay, why not we make it through this some. We made it into flour with some modified in the process, and then we still able to hold the beta carotene activity. And then this is kind of like a preliminary studies, as we seen that the carrot retentions for the beta carotene was quite good. But then, like I think for the future studies, we might using Dove softeners and other Dove softeners additives. In addition, the fat content that we use here is also not that much. That's also could be a reformulated strategy for the next one. But also, through this study as well, we can able to conclude that we cannot be too aggressive in, for example, substituting this type of ingredients in the bakery products. So it was stated in the conclusions that I think 10% it's quite wise that you're still able to have this antioxidants properties, but also able to hold the characteristic of this textural, because I think for bakery, textural is a number one of acceptability factor that we need to consider.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Arvina, for the answer. There is a question from chat. Why the moisture content decreased? Is the carrot red before the research conducted?
Yes. So basically, as I mentioned previously, we using here mostly is the carrot with kind of like a different grade quality, and we take the low quality levels. And we check the differences between this, we call it as a low grade carrots with the high grade carrots. The main difference is actually between the fibers content. So the low grade carrots, they have more fiber on it. And this is typically the characteristic that we use when we make a powder of this carrot, and when we investigate the fiber, the total fiber from this carrot, it's actually significantly higher compared to the normal carrots that we found. And when we compare to in the same farmer with the other carrots that they have, but with a higher grade. So when you have a higher fibers, especially in your bakery products, so fibers has a capacity to holding a water. So in this regards, then you might prone to have a lower moisture content. And this lower moisture content is also even more approved through the porosity that we see, because we see the texture, the crumb and the crust. So you have like a smaller porous. And this is also the reasons why the texture is becoming dry, and it's also becoming hard to chew, and it's also lowering the acceptability of the donuts because of the fiber content. Well, you have a higher fiber, yes, indeed, but we did not investigate it here. But of course, with the more substitutions, you're gonna have a more higher fiber. But then, like, this is not what the consumers wants, because they want something, like fluffy, soft, but at the same time still have this fiber and all bioactive content. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Miss Erwina. What an interesting study. But we have to go to the next presenter. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Next, there is a presentation video from Mr. Steven Surya Prabowo. The title is Dead Fruits as a Functional Food for Digestive Health. Okay. Okay. For the committee, the video for the next presenter. Is there Mr. Steven Surya Prabowo in here? No. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. Miss Miyuko Laurel Wijaya. Okay. Maybe you can okay, the cam. Wait.
Hello everyone, my name is Mikola Wijaya from Binus University. Today I would like to present my research entitled Date Fruit of Phoenix Dactylifera as a Functional Food for Digestive Health, Nutritional Value and Potential Benefits. Here is the outline of my presentation. I will start with the introduction, followed by the explanation of nutritional composition and bioactive compound of date fruit. Then I will discuss their role in supporting digestive health and their application as functional food ingredients. Finally, I will conclude the presentation in conclusion. Functional food are known to provide health benefits beyond basic nutrition and play an important role in disease prevention. However, modern dietary patterns, which are often high in fat and very low in fiber, have contributed to the increasing prevalence of digestive disorders. Therefore, there is a growing need for natural and fiber-rich food sources. One promising example is date fruit, which are rich in dietary fiber, nutrients, and bioactive compound, making date fruit a potential functional food for supporting digestive health. Therefore, in this paper, I will explain more about the potential of date fruit as functional food, especially in supporting digestive health. Date fruit have a complex nutritional composition consisting of both macronutrients and micronutrients. Carbohydrates are the main component, accounting for about 65 to 88% of the dry weight, where carbohydrate in date fruit mainly in the form of glucose and fructose, which provide a quick source of energy. Date fruit also rich in dietary fiber, particularly soluble fibers such as pectin, which play an important role in digestive health. They also contain a small amount of protein and a very low fat content. Date fruit also provide essential vitamins, especially vitamin B complex and minerals, with potassium being the dominant minerals. Overall, date fruit nutritional composition may vary depending on factors such as the level of ripeness, environmental condition, and post-harvest processing. Date fruit have a lot of bioactive compounds that contribute to their functional properties. These include phenolic compounds, phenolic acid, flavonoids, carotenoids, tocopherols, and phytosterols. Among these bioactive compounds, phenolic compounds and phenolic acid play a major role in date fruit antioxidant activity by helping to protect cells from oxidative change. Flavonoids also contribute by neutralizing free radicals and enhancing cellular protection. Carotenoids such as beta-carotene and lutein act as precursors of vitamin A, while tocopherols, which actually belong to vitamin E, help protect cells' membrane from oxidation. And lastly, phytosterol and phytoestrogen contribute to anti-inflammatory effects of date fruit. Date fruit have significant potential in supporting digestive health through their fiber content and bioactive compound. They contain both soluble and insoluble fiber, where soluble fiber, particularly pectin, play a key role by forming a gel-like structure that helps improve bowel movement and digestion. Dietary fiber in date fruit also act as prebiotic by promoting the growth of beneficial bacteria such as bifidobacteria and lactobacillus. These bacteria then will ferment the fiber content in date fruit into short-chain fatty acid that will help strengthen the intestinal barrier and improve the nutrient absorption in digestive system. Bioactive compounds such as polyphenols also contribute to antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects by protecting the intestinal lining from oxidative stress and inflammation. Date fruit have a great potential as functional food ingredients due to their nutritional composition and bioactive compound. In food processing, date fruit can function as natural sweetener, humectants, texturizer, stabilizer, and even fat replacer. Several derivatives of date fruit that are commonly used are date pulp, date syrup, date press cake, and also pomace. For example, date pulp is often used in bakery products to maintain moisture and improve texture, while date syrup can act as natural sweetener and enhance flavor. Date press cake and pomace are also rich in fiber and can be used to increase the functional values of food products. In conclusion, date fruit have a strong potential as functional food due to their nutritional content and bioactive compound. Their soluble fiber, particularly pectin, play an important role as a prebiotic by supporting gut microbiota balance and promoting the production of short-chain fatty acids, which contribute to digestive health. Various date fruit derivatives such as pulp, syrup, press cake, and pomace can be utilized as functional ingredients in food production. Overall, date fruit not only improve the nutritional value of foods, but also can be used to enhance their functionality, especially in supporting digestive health. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Okay. Thank you to Ms. Miyuko for the presentation we have just watched. Now I open the Q&A session. If you would like to ask the question, please kindly raise your hand using the Zoom raise hand, or you can type your question. Okay. There is a question from Clarissa Natania. You can turn on your camera or and your audio. Please, Miss Clarissa. Miss Clarissa, you can mute your. Oh, okay. Because the internet of Miss Clarissa is slow, I will okay, with the question from Miss Clarissa. Okay. Considering that many studies have already explored the nutritional value of dead fruits, what is the novelty of your study and what is your main justification for selecting dead fruits over other functional food sources, especially in the context of digestive health? Okay. Ms. Miyuko, you can answer the question.
Thank you for the question, Ms. Clarissa. So the novelty of this study is that it does not only describe the nutritional composition of date fruit, but it also connects it with the functional mechanism in supporting digestive health and also their application in food production. So many previous study only focus on one aspect, like only explaining the nutritional factors or the bioactive compound on the fruit without directly explain the connectivity of them with the with the support of date fruit in supporting digestive health. I also selected date fruit because they have a unique combination of nutritional composition, as I said in the presentation, where date fruit is very high in fiber, also have high in fiber and high bioactive compound. So both of that compound could help supporting digestive health, and also compared to other functional uh, food options, date fruit also have practical advantages such as providing natural sweetener or widely and also it's widely available and easy to find. So it could be an option to be used in functional food. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Miyuko, for your answer. Is there any question? Okay, if not, we can go to the next presentation. Thank you, Ms. Miyuko and Mr. Steven, for your study and your presentation. Next, we will watch the next presentation. While watching, if you have questions, you can write them in the chat column.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good morning. Venerable Rector of IPB University, distinguished keynote speakers, invite speaker, and respected participants. In this presentation, I will briefly explain the background, method, results, and conclusion. Okay, Marsanjali Saragi, I'm pleased today present my research and data. Locally sourced air fiber stable from purple sweet potato and kidney beans nutritional value, stability, and satiety index. In this introduction, I would like to highlight an important public issue: the dairy fiber intake remains low but globally and nationally, and has become a presentation nutritional problem that impacts overall public health. According to global data, the average adult fiber intake is still below 20 grams per day, which is far below the recommended intake of 25 to 30 grams per day. This lower intake is closely related to insufficient consumption of fruits, eggs, and vegetables. In fact, the prevalence of inadequate intake is very high, reaching 95.5% among individuals aged 5 years and above. As a consequence for the dairy fiber, habits may contribute my obesity, which can lead to serious health conditions such as coronary heart disease, hypertension, stroke, diabetes, and cancer. In this session, I will introduce the main ingredients used in the study, namely purple sweet potato and kidney beans. Purple sweet potato is also rich in dietary fiber, containing around 12.9 grams in processed from such as flax. It provides 5.51 grams of protein and 16.47 grams of fiber per 100 grams of dry matter. On the other hand, kidney beans are excellent source of bioactive compounds. Kidney beans provided 21.4 grams of protein and 7.9 grams of dietary fiber. This is purple sweet potato flour preparation. The purple sweet potato are washed and cut into smaller pieces. They are steamed 100 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes using a steamer. Finally, the dry product is ground using appendix mill with a system size to produce purpose potato flour. In this session, I will explain the preparation process of kidney beans flour. First, the red beans are washed, sorted to ensure good quality. Then they are boiling using a steam jet kettle, 100 degrees Celsius at 60 minutes. Finally, the dry product is ground using appendix mill with a system size to produce kidney bean flour. In this session, I will explain the snack bar procedure. First, all dry liquid ingredients are prepared. Then the ingredients are mixed heavily using a dry mixer. Finally, the mix is baked on oven at 100 degrees Celsius for 60 minutes to produce the snack bar. The first formulation used 100 grams of purple sweet potato flakes equivalent to 50% of the total composition without the addition of nuts and seeds. This serves of the control the basic characteristic of the product. Finally, the fifth formulation is a development of with the addition of nuts and seeds in the same composition as previously mentioned. Value and product acceptability. Next slide. Foods with high fiber and protein content usually have a higher satiety index, meaning they are more capable of providing a longer lasting feeling of fullness after consumption. Protein formulation 1 allow 5.08, but formulation 6 high protein 17.81. Total dietary fiber increase mainly with the inclusion of kidney beans and seed range from 6.15 Formula 1 to 90.38 Formulation 6. Formulation 2 consistently saw the highest sensory score in appearance, aroma, taste, and overall. 100% purple sweet potato flakes improve the product sensory quality. Formulation 2 show the high satiety index. The mean value was 103.9 with a standard deviation of 18.73, exceeding the commercial snack bar. This indicates that combination of purple sweet potato nuts and seed may enhance satiety through the synergistic effect of dietary fiber, protein, and lipids. Snack bar made from purple sweet potato, kidney beans, and seeds improve nutritional value, acceptability, and satiety. All formulations are high in fiber. Formulation 2 show the best performance. The combination of fiber, protein, and healthy fats enhance satiety, indicate strong potential functional food for control and obesity prevention. This is reference I use. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the video presentation. Since Miss Ersa and team is not present, we will immediately continue to the next video presentation. Okay, next we will watch the next presentation video from Caitlin Gabriel Adrianto and team. And while watching, I remind you, if you have questions, you can write them in the chat column.
Every day, Indonesia loses 57 women to cervical cancer. This urgency is what drives this research. Good morning. My name is Caitlin Gabrielle Adrianto from School Simberg. Today, I present my research, Selectivity and In vitro Safety of Indonesian Nigella sativa extract as a supportive treatment for cervical cancer, evidence from a locally cultivated tropical bioresource. Introduction. Cervical cancer is a major health burden in Indonesia. ranking as the second most common cancer among women, with a significant number of new cases and annual death. While cisplatin-based chemotherapy is the standard treatment, it comes at a cost. Nearly 94% of patients suffer adverse drug reactions, and up to 45% experience permanent kidney injury, making patients drop out of treatment. This creates an urgent need. We don't just need a cure, we need a way to make the cure bearable and safe. This brings us to our solution, Nigella sativa. It is widely cultivated in Indonesia and has a long history in traditional medicine. Its power lies in its key bioactive compound, thymoquinone. Prior study has evaluated the Indonesian-grown strain contains fatty acids and terpenes that work together against cervical cancer cells. But up to date, there is no selectivity and safety data for the Indonesian strain. This is the critical gap my research fills. This study was designed around 4 objectives. Evaluate cytotoxicity via MCT assay on HeLa and Vero cells, determine their IC50, calculate the selectivity index, and visually confirm cell changes morphologically. Materials and methods. This study was conducted at the Cell Culture Lab, Pusat Studi Satwa Primata, PSSP, IPB University. I used Central Java Nigella sativa. The GCMS and HPLC of this extract was established by a PSSP publication on the same batch. For HeLa cervical cancer and Vero normal cells, both sourced from the PSSP verified collection. All other reagents used were of analytical grade. MTT assay was performed on HeLa and Vero cells treated with the extract at 62.5 to 16,000 ppm, and the IC50 was determined. The selectivity index, or SI, was then calculated as IC50 Vero divided by IC50 HeLa. Then morphological changes were assessed using an inverted microscope. First, let's look at what is inside the extract. GCMS identified 20 phytochemical compounds. The extract was rich in unsaturated fatty acids and terpenes. The main bioactive, thymoquinone, was present at 0.04%. MTT assay shows a dose-dependent inhibition of the extract on both HeLa and Vero cells. HeLa cells show higher inhibition than Vero cells at all concentrations, from 27% up to 94%, with all concentrations, even the lowest, showing statistically significant differences compared to control. In Vero cells, inhibition was markedly lower, starting at just 4% up to 70%, and only becoming significant at 1,000 ppm and above. The dose-response analysis determined the IC50. For HeLa, the IC50 was 1,053 ppm, confirming moderate cytotoxic activity, typical for a crude herbal extract. For Vero, the IC50 was higher at 3,718 ppm. We then calculate the selectivity index. Vero IC50 divided by HeLa IC50, giving an SI of 3.53. Exceeding the international pharmacological safety threshold of more than 3. This means the extract requires 3.5 times the dose to harm a healthy normal cell as it needs to kill a cancer cells. Morphologically, HeLa show clear apoptosis-like changes, rounding, shrinkage, and detachments, while Vero remain largely intact with changes only above 1,000 ppm. This confirms selective toxicity. Now the key findings of our study. Looking at HeLa IC50 and Vero IC50 with an SI of 3.53, this means that healthy cells need 3.5 times more extract to be affected. My previous study proved cytotoxicity. This study adds what was missing, selectivity and safety. First, this study confirms selective toxicity. The SI proves this extract is safe and selective. Second, the extract shows moderate IC50, which is a strength. Lower potency means lower systematic toxicity, making it suitable for supportive use. Third, morphology observation validates this. My prior study on cisplatin shows an IC50 of 1.79 ppm, which is extremely potent, with studies reporting high adverse drug reactions. The extract contains fatty acids, terpenes, and thymoquinone, which prior studies report a multi-compound synergism against cervical cancer cells. The extract moderate potency combined with its selectivity makes it ideal for supportive care, not to replace chemotherapy, but to improve patient tolerance of it. Internationally, botanicals like ginseng, curcumin, and ashwagandha are already used this way. Our study shows that Indonesian Nigella sativa can join this category as a safe, locally sourced adjunctive phytopharmaceutical. To conclude, this is the first study to establish the selectivity and in vitro safety of Indonesian Nigella sativa on HeLa cells, with a moderate cytotoxicity and SI of 3.53, showcasing safety and selectivity. Moving forward, the next step is to perform a combination study, mixing this extract directly with cisplatin to prove that they work better together than alone. Ultimately, we are not just testing a seed, we are laying the scientific foundation for an evidence-based supportive phytopharmaceutical. By harnessing Indonesia's natural potential, we hope to make standard treatment tolerable and accessible, supporting the national goal of 90% treatment access by 2030. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
Okay, thank you to Ms. Kathleen and team for the presentation we have just watched. Now I open the question and answer session. If you'd like to ask a question, please kindly raise your hand using the Zoom raise hand feature or type your question. Okay, Miss Kathleen. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe my question, yeah, for your presentation. In your study, based on your study, what are the advantages and limitation of developing Indonesian Nigella sativa as locally sourced phytopharmaceutical for cervical cancer supportive therapy?
Thank you for this question. So the advantages of the study is that it is a novel study and it has never been done before in Indonesia. This opens the door for an affordable local adjunct therapy for supportive care. This means that when patients take chemotherapy with cisplatin, the side effects are usually toxic, leading to kidney failure and making patients drop out of treatment. With Nigella sativa to be used alongside cisplatin, we can use this to reduce these side effects and improve patients' quality of life. For the limitations of this study, it is only in vitro, so there is no in vivo data to be able to clinically translate the results to human kidney cells because we only use Vero cells, which are derived from African green monkeys. And furthermore, we only use one cell line, which is HeLa. Other cell lines exist, such as Casqui and SIHA, which is the future next step for this study. And lastly, I do not confirm apoptosis pathway as I only use light microscopy, which shows apoptosis-like morphology such as rounding, shrinkage, and detachment from the plate. However, to confirm apoptosis pathway, we would need to conduct mechanistic assays such as an ex in vivo or capacity assay.
For this study, are there any plans to go to a clinical trials?
Yes, I do have plans to go to clinical trials. I will need to conduct a fractionation-based assay so I can see what compounds actually cause the cytotoxic effect. And I will also planning to conduct an in vivo study combining cisplatin with Nigella sativa to prove that they work better together than alone, since my ultimate goal is to use Nigella sativa as a supportive agent alongside cisplatin.
Okay, what an interesting study. My advice, if you want to go to the clinical trial, yeah, you have to know about Badan POM regulation for the in vivo study. Okay, because there is no question in chat box, we can go to the next presenter. Thank you very much, Miss Kathleen, for your presentation. Next presentation is from Mr. Rainer Valendra. Okay. Okay. Now we will watch the presentation from Mr. Rainer Valendra and team. Again, I will remind you while watching, if you have questions, you can write them in a chat column.
Hello everyone, today I would like to present my study with the title of The Effect of Edamame Seed Coat Powder Substitution on the Characteristics of Brown Rice-Based Puff Snacks using collet extruders. First of all, why edamame seed coats? because edamame seed coats are easily found in Indonesia and is the main commodity, especially in Jember, Banyuwangi, and East Java. The seed coats are byproduct often discarded during processing, and the seed coats are also dominant in dietary fiber source, minerals, and proteins. The objective of this study is to develop a puffing snack combining brown rice and edamame seed coats, and to determine which formula of the substitute used to reach the most optimal final product. Lastly is to utilize agricultural waste or byproducts to be edible products. The methodology for this study is first, fresh frozen edamame seed coat is thawed and put in the humidifier dryer at 65 degrees Celsius for 5 hours. And after it's dry, the milling and sieving process is done using a herb grinder and using a 40 mesh. After that, the formulation for the study is created, which is 5%, 10%, and 15% substitution sample, and also the control. And before the collet extrusion process, moisture adjustment is done using cold storage for the collet extrusion process to run smoothly. After all the final products are obtained, analysis is done. This is the final result of the products. We can see there's already a difference in color and size, but we will discuss more in the next slide. This is the result of moisture content analysis. We can see that with the increase of edamame seed coat substitution ratio in the brown rice, the moisture increases as well. The lowest moisture is in the control of 0% substitute, and with the highest being the 15% substitution of edamame seed coats. But with the moisture differences, statistical analysis shows that there aren't any significant differences between the moisture content between the samples. This is because although edamame seed coats contain dietary fibers with high water binding ability, the extrusion process with high temperature and friction causes most of the free water to evaporate uniformly throughout the treatment. Therefore, the effect of increasing water binding power by fibers isn't strong enough to produce statistically significant differences in the moisture content. Moving on to the color analysis, substitution of edamame seed coat powder had a significant influence on the color parameters. We can see that the L value, which indicates the sample's brightness, decreases as the edamame seed coat substitution increases. This can be related to the natural edamame seed coat skin color and Maillard reaction that produces brown pigment that reduces product's brightness. A value also saw an increase alongside with the increase of edamame seed coat substitution that indicates a color shift from green to red or brown due to the chlorophyll degradation and browning during the heating extrusion process. As for the B value, its highest value is in the 5% sample, which indicates color shift towards yellowish brown, which is typical in extrudates and fibrous materials. Substitution of the edamame seed coat powder had also significant effect on the ash content. The higher edamame peel substitution increases ash content due to its higher mineral level and heat stability during extrusion. Formulations with a 10% substitution showed a significant increase in ash content compared to controls, but still within a proportionate range. At higher level of substitution, the increase in ash content becomes more pronounced, reflecting the dominance of non-starch fractions in the product's matrix. These findings are in line with the research on grain-based extruded and byproducts that report the addition of mineral-rich ingredients increases ash content as well as nutritional value, but still need to be controlled as not to interfere with the physical properties of the product. Edamame seed coat powder substitution significantly affects puff snack texture, increasing the hardness with higher level of edamame seed coat substitution. The texture of the puff snack is greatly influenced by the starch's ability to gelatinize and form a porous structure during expansion. The addition of fibers from the skin of edamame seed coats hulls acts as a diluent in the starch matrix, thereby inhibiting the formation of large uniform air cells. As a result, the structure of the product becomes denser and requires greater force for deformation, which is reflected in an increase in hardness value. Lastly is the expansion ratio analysis. In the study, the control sample without edamame seed coat substitution had the highest expansion ratio and was significantly different from all the substituted samples. This higher expansion is mainly due to the high starch content in brown rice. During extrusion, the starch absorbs the water and gelatinizes, trapping steam inside the dough. When the product exits the die, the sudden pressure drop causes the steam to expand, forming air pockets and increasing the overall volume of the snack. The 10% substitution sample gave slightly better expansion than the 5% and 15% ones, but differences weren't significant. Moderate fiber still limits expansion without major impact. Since the control sample contains fewer non-starch components such as fiber, the expansion process can occur more freely. Thus, with all the consideration of the physicochemical analysis of the edamame seed coat substituted samples, it can be concluded that the 10% edamame seed coat substitution is the most optimal formulation, with a stable moisture value, crispness texture maintained, and an increase in mineral value, while the changes of texture, size, and color remains acceptable. So these are the references that I use in my study. And I thank you all for the time, attention, and the opportunity to present the result of my study today. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you to Mr. Rainer, Valendra, Kristiawan, and team for the presentation we have just watched. Now I open the Q&A session. If you would like to ask a question, please kindly raise your hand, or you can type your question in the chat box. Okay, there's a question from Ms. Lusti Istiqomah. You can open your mic.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator. I would like to ask the presenter, do you also conduct the microbial analysis for your edamame powder? Because this is important if you would like to make it as a food something else, you need to estimate or predict the bacterial population in your product. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lusti, for the question. Ms. Rainer, your time.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. And to answer that question is no, we did not actually do the microbial. We haven't got the chance to do the microbial analysis. In this study, we only focus on the study of the physicochemical analysis. So the analysis that we do mainly focuses on the effect of the edamame seed coat powder in the final result of the processing using the high heat collet extruder. So yeah, that's maybe one of the things that we should do. Thank you for the comments for the microbial analysis.
Okay, thank you very much. How about the answer? Is there any other question?
I think it's enough. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, because we have a limited time, I think we have to go to the next presentation. Thank you very much, Mr. Rainer, Valendra, and team for your very inspiring study.
Thank you.
Next, we will watch the next presentation video from Cherish Dominic Cahya Suwarna and team. Again, while watching, if you have a question, you can write it.
My name is Cherish Dominic Cahya Suwarna. I'm from Bina Nusantara University, and today I will be presenting the anti-hyperglycemic activity of Pondo snake fruit seed, bitter melon seed, mangosteen peel, Cavendish banana peel, cascara, and cocoa husk. Diabetes is a metabolic disease characterized by chronic hyperglycemia. It is incredibly prevalent all throughout the world, with 588.7 million recorded cases in 2024 and 852.5 million projected cases in 2050. Although efficient, anti-hyperglycemic medication often offer mild to severe side effects. Inedible plant-based food waste, such as fruit seeds, fruit peels, etc., they contain many bioactive compounds, many of which yield health benefits, including lower blood glucose levels. Thus, the objective of this research is to investigate the anti-hyperglycemic activity of several types of inedible plant-based food waste. First, sample preparation was done as follows. Fresh samples, such as banana peels, mangosteen peels, and snake fruit seeds, were separated from their other plant parts. Then the fruit peels were cut into smaller pieces. All fresh samples were then subjected to drying in a forced air oven at 60 degrees Celsius for 24 hours. Then they were ground, sieved, and stored by double bagging in airtight polyethylene bags away from light at room temperature. Commercially dried samples, namely the cascara, cocoa husk, and bitter melon seeds, were immediately ground, sieved, and stored in the same manner. Then All samples were extracted in boiling distilled water for 15 minutes before obtaining the filtrate via filtration. For the bitter melon seed extract specifically, centrifugation of the filtrate at 3000 G for 15 minutes twice was required to obtain a clear supernatant. Distilled water was added back to the filtrate or to the supernatant for the bitter melon seeds case. Then the extracts were stored in the freezer when not in use. These aqueous extracts were subjected to a series of investigations, namely measuring the total phenolic content, total flavonoid content, antioxidant activity by way of ABTS radical scavenging, alpha amylase inhibition, and alpha glucosidase inhibition. For the ABTS radical scavenging activity and alpha amylase and alpha glucosidase inhibition, those were tested at 1000 ppm. All analyses were done in triplicate, and statistical significance between groups was tested at a 5% level using one-way ANOVA. Statistically different groups were determined using Duncan's multiple range test. Next, we will discuss the results obtained by carrying out the previously mentioned methodology. For the total phenolic content, we see that fruit peels categorically had the greatest amount of phenolic content, then followed by seed husks or brands, then lastly seeds. So we see that mangosteen peel and banana peels are not significantly different to each other in terms of their phenolic content. Based on a 2019 study, a prominent phenolic compound in mangosteen peel vinegar was alpha-mangosteen, a polyphenol known for its anti-inflammatory properties. And another study cites that banana peels contain phenolic compounds such as G-catechin, L-capecatechin, and L-gallocatechin. On the other hand, for the total flavonoid content, we see that the cascara extract has the highest flavonoid content among all 6 samples. And overall, there is less flavonoids compared to phenolics in all 6 samples. That is because flavonoids are a type of phenolic compounds and they are often insoluble in water. Thus, our aqueous extracts will have lower flavonoid compound yield. It is known that the flavonoids in cascara extract include mangiferin, rutin, and isomangiferin. Next, for the antioxidant activity measured by ABTS radical scavenging activity, or RSA, we see that all samples exhibited low radical scavenging activity for ABTS radicals despite high phenolic content, with the maximum inhibition of just below 20 for snake fruit seed and banana peel extract. This shows that the phenolics and flavonoids in our aqueous extracts may not have fast-acting antioxidants. So further validation is required with other antioxidant tests such as Kuprac, FRAP, ORAC, and H2O2 radical scavenging. As for the alpha glucosidase inhibition, we see that mangosteen peel extract has the greatest inhibitory activity for this enzyme at 68.80%. And we know that in the literature, mangosteen peel extract is cited to be rich in polyphenols, some of which are known to inhibit alpha glucosidase. As for alpha amylase inhibition, we see that among all the 6 samples, bitter melon seed extract has the highest alpha amylase inhibitory activity at 70.90%, even though it has relatively lower phenolic and flavonoid content. It is worth noting that bitter melon seed extract is known to lower blood glucose in vivo due to its saponin content, but this has yet been proven in vitro. It is also known that bitter melon seed has polypeptide P, which may be able to bind to carbohydrates, preventing their digestion. To conclude, mangosteen and Cavendish banana peel extract have the highest phenolic content, whereas the cascara extract have the highest flavonoid content among all 6 inedible plant-based food waste samples. This high phenolic content may be the reason why mangosteen peel extract was the best at inhibiting alpha glucosidase, but high phenolic content does not always guarantee the best performance in alpha glucosidase or alpha amylase inhibitory assays, because bitter melon seed extract, which had relatively low phenolic content and flavonoid content, had the highest alpha amylase inhibition. This may be because bitter melon seed extract had other components like saponins and proteins that could better inhibit these enzymes. Future research should focus on expanding other plant-based food waste and finding the most suitable extraction conditions, such as the best solvent, method, time, temperature, to maximize the health benefits of these extracts before further utilization. These are the references that I used. And that is all for my presentation. Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Okay, thank you very much to Ms. Charis for the presentation we have just watched. Now I open the Q&A session. If you would like to ask a question, please kindly raise your hand, or you can type in the chat box. Okay. I have a question for Ms. Charis. In your result study, we can see that some extract show high total phenolic content, but relatively low radical scavenging activity. Why it happens? Can you elaborate more about that?
It could be that the antioxidants present in the aqueous extracts that I use were slower acting antioxidants. So maybe they require a longer amount of time to show their antioxidative activities, whereas the ABTS radical scavenging activity, the sample was only incubated with the ABTS radicals for 6 minutes. So that's quite a short amount of time. So only stronger or faster acting antioxidants would be detected in that assay.
Okay, thank you. And for the further studies, are we what is it there? Before this plant-based food waste extract can be developed into a functional antihyperglycemic products, what you and your team will do for the next study?
I think if we were to conduct further studies, it would be a good idea to find the best extraction conditions and investigate further on which compounds or which components are responsible for the anti-hyperglycemic activities. So how can we adjust our extraction conditions so that these components are at a maximum and so that we can get the best anti-hyperglycemic activity out of these samples.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Charis and team, for your presentation. And then we have to go to the next presentation from Siti Zaharani Zalama and team. While watching, if you have question, you can write it in the chat box.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Zaharani Zalama. I'm from the Department of Biology at Andalas University, and my team is Mr. Shamswardi, Mr. Antonio Agustin, and Ms. Nurenas. In opportunities, I want to presentation our research about diversity of endophytic fungi in the rhizome of Laginger endemic to Sumatra using next generation sequencing. Okay. I think so many people might not realize that plant tissue contain living organisms that are invisible to the naked eye but do not harm the plant. These are endophytic microbes, one type of which is endophytic fungi. Endophytic fungi are microbes that live in the cells of the host plant. Although they live in symbiotic relationship with their host, endophytic fungi have diverse interactions in response to the host environmental conditions. In an effort to maintain a stable symbiosis, endophytic microbes produce many compounds to aid plant growth and enhance adaptation to the environment. And from the uniqueness of endophytic fungal interaction with their host, it will result in the colonization of a varied diversity of endophytic fungi. So that's one plant can store more than 30 species of endophytic fungi. To identify endophytic fungi, we can use the method conventional culture-dependent isolation, but if we use this, that all endophytic fungi can be grown on culture media. And then also we can use the method culture-independent analyzing using metagenomic by next-generation sequencing. From the next-generation sequencing, we can identify the diversity of endophytic fungi, including communities that cannot grow on culture media. And in our opinion, knowing the endophytic fungi community is important because it can know the potential secondary metabolites produced by endophytic fungus. Endophytic fungi are known to produce secondary metabolites that are the same as their hosts. And in Indonesia, especially in Sumatra, there are 18 species of variety of ginger found in Sumatra. One of them is Gingiber macrotinium cascam, described by Carl Skam from a specimen in Sungai Bu Timur Padang Pariaman, West Sumatra. This ginger plant, based on ethnobotanical study by Agustin et al. At 2021, the local community used this ginger as medicine, and did this because the ginger produces secondary metabolites that are good for human health. So, from the existence of Gingiber macrotinium, our ginger species in Sumatra is largely unknown to the public, although some of these benefits can serve as a valuable local research. Based on ethnobotanical studies, the species is used as a medicine for the local community, which is a secondary metabolite of this ginger. Consider that endophytic fungi produce the same secondary metabolites as their host, and there has been no research related to the diversity of the endophytic fungi Gingiber macrotinium, so it is important to know the endophytic fungi community, that it is possible to know secondary metabolite that endophytic fungi from this ginger. So, this research we conducting in biotechnology laboratory Andalus University, and the next generation sequencing analysis was carried out at IT Genetic Science Jakarta. And the result from this research, the sample Gingiber macrotinium in Rantik village Sawalunto was found with environmental conditions at air temperature of 3 degrees Celsius, and the ginger is found in habit close to tribute trees, terrestrial, and surrounded by a variety of red plants. And from the DNA amplification, we use ITS1 and ITS4 primers, and from amplification fluorescence DNA rings we are seeing at 500 base pair, which means that the sample has been successfully amplified using ITS1 and ITS4 primers measured for 100 until 800 base pair. And this species diversity of endophytic fungi is Gingiber macrotinium. So we found so many species at this ginger, and the total species at this ginger is 239, with the texts of endophytic fungi species Gingiber macrotinium. And then the dominant endophytic fungus species are Palus sp, Digitopodium taxonomy, Mes Nicovihibici, Epinizili venezuelensis, and Procreum epimultina. In addition, endophytic fungi were also detected which are known to have secondary metabolite bioactivity that are widely used, namely Fusarium and Penicillium. From 2019 to 2040, it has been reported that 276 new metabolites were revealed from at least 21 species of Fusarium. These metabolites mainly including antibacterial, antifungal, phytotoxic, antimalarial, anti-inflammatory, and cytotoxic activity, which show potential for medicinal and agricultural application. And meanwhile, penicillin is also reported as a fungi that has antimicrobial, mycotoxic, antibacterial, antibiotic, and anti-tumor bioactivity. And based on ethnobotanical studies and the result of this diversity of endophytic fungi, Gingiber macrotinium, this ginger plant has good potential to help by neutralizing secondary metabolites of the endophytic fungi Gingiber macrotinium. And so, in conclusion, there are 239 OTUs, species of fungi in Gingiber macrotinium rhizome. The dominant endophytic fungi species are Palus sp, Digitopodium taxonomy, Mes Nicovihibici, Epinizili venezuelensis. And so, the endophytic fungi from Gingiber macrotinium has the potential to produce secondary metabolites that can be used for health.
Okay, that's my presentation. Thank you for attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you to Miss Siti Zaharani for the presentation we have just watched. Now I open the Q&A session. If you would like to ask a question, please kindly raise your hand, or you can write it in chat box. Okay. Question from me, Miss Siti Zaharani. In your study, why you and your team use next generation sequencing for your study instead of conventional culture techniques to identify endophytic fungi in Zingiber macradenium? Why you use NGS?
Okay, Miss. Thanks for your question. Me and my team chose the next generation sequencing method because not every endophytic fungi can grow on the culture media. And then when we use the NGS, maybe we can detect it, the species cannot culture from the media, and so that's why we are choose the NGS method.
Okay. Actually, my study also about endophytic fungi, and I have many questions about that. But because our time is so limited, and I have to go to the next presentation. So thank you very much to Miss Siti Zaharini and team.
Okay, thank you.
Next, Next, we will watch the next presentation video from Sulistianingsi and team. Again, while watching, you can write your question.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude for the opportunity provided to me today. My name is Sulistianingsi. I am master student in nutrition science at the Faculty of Medicine Diponegoro University. Today, I'm honored to present our research entitled Physicochemical Profile of Avicenna marina from different plant parts and its potential in improving lipid profile. In this session, we will explore the remarkable potential of this mangrove species as a natural therapy for cardiovascular health. What is hyperlipidemia? Hyperlipidemia is a major risk factor for cardiovascular disease or CFD, characterized by imbalance in the lipid profile, LDL or bad cholesterol, high level of low density lipoprotein, triglyceride, increased fats in the blood, HDL or good cholesterol, low levels of high density lipoprotein. The chain reaction or pathophysiology, the diagram illustrates how high fat levels lead to physical damage. Endothelial damage, excess lipid irritates and damages the inner lining of the blood vessels. Oxidation LDL and foam cells, LDL becomes oxidized and is eaten by immune cell, forming foam cell that stick to vessel walls. Inflammation, this buildup triggers or chronic inflammatory response, releasing markers like IL-6 and TNF-alpha, leading to plaque formation. The final outcome, the process narrow the arteries or arteriosclerosis, eventually leading to what's leading cause of death, heart attack or stroke. While statins are the gold standard for lowering cholesterol, they are double-edged sword due to their side effect, carries muscle damage and liver toxicity. The cell to action, the downward arrow suggests we need to look beyond synthetic drugs. There is an urgent need for a natural-based therapy approach to manage lipid without the health systemic side effect. Avicenna marina is a woody tropical shrub and prominent mangrove species. It does in the host consistent of tidal zone and coastal area across tropical and subtropical region. Global distribution of Avicenna marina, it is a highly adaptable plant found across Asia, Africa, Australia, and America. The following are the physicochemical compounds found in the Avicenna marina mangrove category, categories by plant part. In the leaves, there are terpenoids, phenolic, flavonoid, isaquercetin, letolein, palmitic acid, phytosterol, camposterol, stigmasterol. In the stems, there are phenolic, tannin, flavonoid, alkaloid, and saponins. In the fruit, there are terpenoid, flavonoid, phenolic, tannin, saponins, and luteolin. In the rose, there are phenolic, flavonoids, fatty acid, alkaloids, and tannins. This is the following table outline the mechanism by which the compounds found in Avicenna marina improve lipid profile. In short, there are four main compounds found in the Avicenna marina plant. First, flavonoid activates the AMPK pathway and inhibits fat synthesis, effectively lowering bad cholesterol. Second is terpenoids, acts as a natural statin-like agent by inhibiting HMG-CoA reductase and regulation lipid metabolism. Tannins reduces fat digestion by inhibiting lipase and increase the exertion of cholesterol through bile acids. Saponins reduces lipid absorption in the gut and sourcing less cholesterol enters the bloodstream. Mechanism of antihyperlipidemic action of Avicenna marina, HMG-CoA reductase inhibition, AMPK activation, lipase inhibition, and antioxidant activity. Conclusion, Avicenna marina shows significant potential as a natural antihyperlipidemic agent due to its diverse physicochemical composition and various mechanisms of action. However, future clinical studies are still needed to confirm its efficacy and safety in humans. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you to Miss Sulistia Ningsi for the presentation we have just watched. Now I open the Q&A session. If there is any question, please kindly raise your hand or you can write it in chat box. Okay, there is a question from me, Miss Sulistia. In your review, which bioactive compounds found in different parts of Avicenna marina are considered most important for improving lipid profiles?
Okay, thank you for the question. The compounds that play the most significant role in improving the lipid profile in Avicenna marina are flavonoids. The most flavonoid are luteolin and isaquercetin. As the possess multi-target mechanism such inhibition of HMG-CoA reductase, reduction of lipid synthesis, and antioxidant activity. The part of Avicenna marina plant that contain the high concentration of the flavonoid is the leaves of Avicenna marina.
There is a question from chat, Zoom chat. Okay, from Anissa Nurfatona. Why did you choose to review Avicenna marina rather than other types of mangroves? What gap this review apart? And in your opinion, what products could be developed for Avicenna marina as discussed?
Okay, thank you for the question. The first is why I choose Avicenna marina. After trying to search for and gather reference, it turns out the research on Avicenna marina is still very limited. Even though this mangrove species is widely distributed in Indonesia itself. There's also an article. The mention of Avicenna marina is found in several Asia, Australia, and America. Additionally, several studies have indicated that these types of mangrove. The second focus of this review is link certain parts of the Avicenna marina plant, their physicochemical properties, and then relate this to their role in improving lipid profile. While many studies have already identification the various compounds present in different parts of the Avicenna marina plant. Next, let's discuss the product that can be developed from Avicenna marina. Avicenna marina certainly has the potential to be used as a functional food due to its high antioxidant content. The fruit itself can be processed into tempeh, and we are certainly conducting research on this very topic. Additionally, I once read an article about making cookies from the leaves of Avicenna marina.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Sulistia Nancy, for your answer. Okay, next we will go to the last presentation video from Anissa Nur Fatonah and team. Again, while watching, you can write your question in the column chat.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. My name is Anissa Nur Fatonah, a master student in nutrition science at Diponegoro University. Thank you for the opportunity to give this presentation. Today at ISOTOBAT 2026 organized by IPB University, I will present a review on the antioxidant potential of Avicenna marina. In the next few minutes, I will explain the classification of antioxidants, introduce Avicenna marina, review its bioactive compounds, discuss the in vivo and in vitro evidence, explain its molecular mechanism of action, and conclude with the main findings and remaining research gaps. Antioxidants are classified into biological and synthetic. Biologically, the body relies on enzymatic defense, superoxide dismutase, catalase, glutathione peroxidase, and non-enzymatic compounds such as glutathione and vitamin C. When free radical burden exceeds this capacity, oxidative stress occurs and drives chronic disease including diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. This is where exogenous plant-derived antioxidants become critical, and Avicenna marina belongs precisely to this non-enzymatic biological exogenous group. Avicenna marina forsphere, known locally as white api-api, is the most widely distributed mangrove species in the Indo-Pacific, belonging to the Acanthaceae family. It thrives under extreme conditions, high salinity, tidal flooding, and anaerobic sediments, driving the accumulation of high concentration of secondary metabolites as an adaptive response. This includes iridoid glycoside, phenylethanoid glycoside, flavonoid, triterpenoids, and naphthalene derivatives, distributed across leaf, roots, hematopores, fruit, and bark. Among all compound classes identified, phenylethanoid glycosides, acteoside, cystanoside F, and geonoside C stand out as the primary antioxidant contributors, showing a very strong correlation with DPPH activity with a raw value of 0.949 and a p-value of 0.014. Flavonoids including luteolin and quercetin, hydroxycinnamic acid, iridoid glycoside, genus-specific aficen known as A through G, and photosynthetic pigment like beta-carotene each contribute to the broad spectrum and synergistic antioxidant capacity of this species. As summarized in the table on this slide, antioxidant activity has been evaluated across plant parts and solvent system using DPPH, ABTS, and warp assays. Two key takeaways. First, pneumatophores consistently show the strongest activity, and second, ethyl acetate extraction yielded the highest capacity across all fractions. Notably, crude extract sometimes outperformed isolated fraction, suggesting synergistic interaction among compound classes in the complex matrix. As shown in the table, in vivo studies across multiple animal models consistently demonstrate two outcomes: antioxidants enzyme superoxide dismutase, catalase, glutathione peroxidase, increased will oxidative stress markers, malondialdehyde, H-hydroxydeoxyguanosine, and pro-inflammatory cytokines decreased. Notably, in a diabetic mouse model, the 400 mg per kilogram oral dose of Avicenna marina leaf extract outperformed 40 mg per kilogram atorvastatin in normalizing lipid oxidation parameters, reflecting its strong hepatoprotective and systemic antioxidant potential. This figure illustrates the core molecular basis of oxidative stress and how Avicenna marina intervenes. At the bottom, excessive ROS produced by mitochondria, NADPH oxidase, and inflammatory cells, damage lipid, DNA, and proteins, while simultaneously activating the NF-kappa B pathway to produce pro-inflammatory cytokines. Those cytokines then feed back to generate even more ROS, creating a vicious cycle. The top portion show how bioactive compounds from Avicenna marina break this cycle. They inactivate KEAP1, releasing NRF2 to translate to the nucleus, bind the antioxidant response element, and upregulate endogenous antioxidant enzyme superoxide dismutase, catalase, glutathione peroxide, hemoxygenase 1, glutathione, while simultaneously inhibiting NF-kappa B, cutting the cycle at both ends. Avicenna marina exhibits antioxidant activity through four synergistic mechanisms: direct radical scavenging, NRF2, pathway activation, inhibition of lipid peroxidation, and suppression of pro-inflammatory cytokines. Phenylethanoic glycosides are the primary bioactive contributor with a Rho value of 0.949 and a P value of 0.014, with pneumatophores and pericarp showing the highest activity. Despite strong in vitro and in vivo evidence, gaps in bioavailability data and clinical trials remain, highlighting the need for further research toward therapeutic application. Thank you for your attention. I hope this review provides useful insight into the antioxidant potential of Avicenna marina.
Okay, thank you very much to Miss Anissa for the presentation we have just watched. Okay, now I open the Q&A session. There's a question from Miss Sulistianengsi. Okay, you can open your mic, Miss.
Thank you. I would like to ask, based on this review, which part of Avicenna marina would you recommend as the most promising for further development as an antioxidant source, and why? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Please, Miss Anissa, for the answer.
Okay, thank you for your question. This is indeed an important consideration, especially when discussing the potential application of Avicenna marina research findings from the laboratory to the real world. Based on in vitro evidence, pneumatophores exhibit the highest antioxidant activity with a DPPH IC50 value of 13.24 microgram per microliter. Although they possess high activity, pneumatophores are structural roots, organs that play a crucial role in gas exchange for the plant. So, large-scale harvesting could potentially disrupt the plant's survival. Therefore, from a practical standpoint, leaves may be more suitable for development because they are easier to obtain and abandon. This is also supported by Witoyo and Utoro 2023, who state the Avicenna marina leaves have been successfully incorporated into food products such as chocolate bar and noodles, confirming their suitability as a practical source of antioxidant. However, other parts of the plant also require further research, particularly regarding bioavailability and in vivo efficacy. In my own research, I use the fruit specifically when processed into tempeh, which exhibited relatively high antioxidant activity as shown in table 2. This fruit shows strong potential as a source of antioxidant that can be applied in food. Although its seasonal availability poses practical challenges that must be addressed by future research. For example, by exploring preservation or processing strategies to extend its shelf life. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Anissa, for your answer. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our parallel session for today. Thank you very much to all presenters and participants for the insightful discussions and valuable contributions. We truly appreciate your active participation and hope today's session has provided meaningful knowledge and inspiration and hopefully encourage future collaboration. I would also like to sincerely apologize if there were any mistake of shortcomings during the session. Now, I would like to hand over the time and screen back to the MC. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Husna, for leading today's presentation session. We are so glad to have you as our moderator today. Thank you for your insightful guidance in our parallel session. Thank you once again, Ibu. Okay, and to all participants, this is the end of today's parallel session. I would like to thank you for your participation today. I also want to remind you to fill out the attendance form. The link to the Google form was already shared by our committee in the chat box. Once again, thank you very much for the moderator, invited speaker, presenters, and audience. We will meet again in the same meeting room tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I'm Risa, as today Master of Ceremony will take my leave. Thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih, Bu Husna.
Sama.